You ever feel like there's a hidden blueprint to your own soul? Like a kind of spiritual DNA that's running the show? Well, today we're going to unlock it. We're taking one ancient passage from the Zohar and peeling back its secrets to reveal a universal map for your growth, your challenges, and ultimately, your path to mastering yourself. So, here's our roadmap for this journey. We're going to kick things off with an ancient promise and watch how it explodes into 7 streams of divine light. Then, we'll face down the shadow that's always there. We're going to get to the bottom of that huge shift that happens to every single one of us at age 13. We'll even translate all this ancient code into modern tech and video game language. And finally, it all comes together in the ultimate quest, mastering the self. All right, let's dive in. Our story starts way back in an ancient landscape with a single, powerful promise from the divine to a man named Abraham. Now, this is a foundational moment, a story a lot of us have heard before, but we're not going to look at it as history. No, we're going to look at it as physics, spiritual physics.
So you see this famous verse, and it sounds like a simple promise, right? Well, in the Zohar, it's not a promise. These words are more like incantations. They're literally activating a spiritual technology. It's as if a divine operating system is being installed directly into reality through this one person. But to really see what's going on, we have to go deeper.
And to get there, we had to enter what's called the Sod, the secret dimension. This is the deepest, hidden layer of meaning, where the story of one guy becomes a detailed blueprint for every single human soul. So listen, this isn't just about ancient history. This is about the spiritual architecture that exists inside you right now. So here's the first big secret. That promise to Abraham wasn't just one blessing. It was the start of 7 distinct streams of divine energy flowing into the world. You gotta picture it like a single, pure beam of white light hitting a crystal prism, and bam, it refracts into a whole spectrum of 7 colors. Each phrase in that promise is a unique frequency, and each one is designed to build a totally different part of his and our spiritual reality.
And this is the core mechanic, the real nuts and bolts. These 7 blessings line up perfectly with the 7 lower Sefirot. So what are the Sefirot? They're the basic building blocks of creation. They're the divine tools through which an infinite, unknowable source actually creates and interacts with our reality. The best way to think of it? It's the source code for a complete spiritual operating system. And Abram is getting the installation files one by one. Okay, now check out this slide. This is the divine architecture mapped out. See how it starts with chesed, kindness? That's pure, expansive white light. Then it moves to gevura, strength, this focused, disciplined, powerful red. And tiferet, or beauty, is the balancing green that holds them together. As you move down the list, you can see the colors start to mix, showing more complex energies, all the way down until you hit malkut, kingdom, which grounds all of those divine colors right here in our world. It's a perfect, top-down flow of creation. But, and this is a huge but, this whole journey of light, this perfect system, it doesn't happen in a vacuum. The Zohar teaches a fundamental law of reality. Wherever there is an emanation of holiness, it is always shadowed by an opposite force. It's not a possibility, it's a law of spiritual physics. And in this story, that archetypal shadow has a name, Abraham's nephew, Lot.
In the Zohar's secret dimension, Lot isn't just a relative. He is the embodiment of the Sitra Achra, the other side. Now, let's be super clear. This isn't some devil with equal power to God. The Zohar calls it a klippa, a husk, a shell. Think of it like a parasite. It has no life of its own. It can only exist by clinging to and feeding off of holiness. So where does this shadow show up? Wherever there's great light. Lot has to be with Abraham, because that massive flood of divine energy creates the exact conditions for its shadow to exist.
And this right here just brilliantly lays out the dynamic. Abraham is the inner light, he's the source, the fruit itself. Lot, the klippah, is the outer shadow, the husk around the fruit. Now, a husk does 2 things, right? It conceals the light, but it also gives it a boundary, a definition. This is the force of our ego, of our raw, untuned desires. It's the resistance that actually makes growth possible. Abraham is the soul's journey outward to connect. Lot is the gravity of self-interest pulling inward that the soul has to overcome, or even better, learn to integrate.
Now, this whole cosmic drama between holiness and its shadow, between Abraham and Lot, this isn't just some ancient story. This is the internal drama playing out inside every single one of us. And according to the Zohar, this internal system is designed to hit a critical, pre-programmed turning point, a major maturation in the soul's development. So the Zohar asks the big question, what is the secret of this specific age? We all know about it, right? The bar mitzvah or bat mitzvah, coming of age. But why 13? Why not 12 or 14? Is it just some cultural tradition we made up? The Zohar says absolutely not. It's a metaphysical event. It's hard-coded into the human spiritual operating system. The number 13 isn't arbitrary. Not even close. It marks a fundamental shift in how your soul operates. A higher part of you comes online for the first time and takes command. You can think of it like getting a promotion, a massive upgrade in your spiritual authority. So here's how the Zohar breaks down the soul's growth. At birth, the dominant force is the nefesh, the animal soul. It's all about instinct, survival, the physical body. Then, as the child grows, the ruach, the emotional soul, starts to develop. That's our personality, our emotions, our early intellect. For 13 years, those two are running the show. But at 13, something incredible happens. The neshama, the divine soul, finally matures and takes over. It becomes the new CEO, with the ability to consciously pilot the body and emotions with real intention. Okay, I know this whole idea of a soul upgrade can sound a little abstract, a little out there, so let's bring it right down to earth. We're going to use some modern analogies that will make this ancient wisdom feel incredibly real and relevant. Let's start with the tech analogy. All right, first up, the tech analogy. Think of your soul before age 13 as a computer that's just running on a standard user account. You can open programs, you can browse the web, but you can't access the core system files. Now that serpent force, the Sitra Achra, that's like malware running as a hidden background process. It's eating up your RAM, draining your battery, making the system lag and crash. You know something's wrong, but you don't have the permissions to fix it. Then, at age 13, the neshama logs in as the administrator. All of a sudden, you have access to the master control panel. You can see every single process, identify the malware, and quarantine it. The bad code isn't deleted, but it is no longer running your system into the ground. Okay, for all you gamers out there, this one's for you. Imagine your life is a giant RPG. For the first 12 levels, you're stuck with a shadow companion, our friend Lot. And he's an uncontrollable NPC, a non-player character. He's always following you, pulling mobs, triggering traps, and hitting you with random debuffs like rage or confusion. You just have to deal with his chaos. Then you ding level 13, and you don't just get a new sword. You unlock an ultimate skill, command. Suddenly, that chaotic NPC becomes a controllable member of your party. You can see its stats, its strengths, like raw power and passion, and its weaknesses. The entire game changes. It's not about surviving your shadow anymore. It's about mastering it and using its power to win the game. And let's try one more angle, a cosmic engineering analogy. Picture the soul as a super complex power plant. For the first 13 years, it's basically in its boot-up sequence. The system is unstable, calibrating. There are parasitic energy drains all over the place. That's the serpent force, siphoning power from the main grid. But at the 13-year mark, the main reactor, the neshama, comes fully online and hits a stability threshold. The central control room is finally active. Now the engineer, that's you, can isolate those energy drains, reroute power for maximum efficiency, and establish a stable, full system flow of that divine energy, those 7 blessings, to every part of the system. It's finally optimized for its true purpose. So what's the point of all this? This divine system, these 7 blessings, the shadow companion, this huge upgrade at age 13, what's it all for? It's not just about getting a cool new power. It's about what you're supposed to do with it. And it all leads to the final and lifelong stage of the soul's journey, mastery. And this is the part that might just change how you see everything. The Zohar teaches that the goal is not to eradicate the serpent. It's not to kill Lot. It is to transform him. The entire purpose of this cosmic design is to take the raw, chaotic, self-centered energy of the Hayabisha, the evil inclination, and transmute it into the Hayataba, the good inclination. The goal is to make the darkness itself a vessel for an even greater light. So, this ancient blueprint actually gives us a practical path forward. First, you have to acknowledge the shadow. Recognize that Lot force inside you not as a flaw, but as a feature of the system. Second, use the upgrade. Consciously engage your neshama, your higher self, your inner administrator, to observe and direct your lower impulses without judgment. Third, don't eliminate, elevate. The goal isn't to destroy your ego or your passions, but to harness their raw energy and redirect it toward a holy purpose. And finally, unify the opposites. True mastery happens when the raw power of the serpent serves the deep wisdom of the soul, creating one whole unified being. And that leaves us with one final thought. A question for you to carry with you. This ancient blueprint, it isn't just a story about Abraham. It's your story. It's about you, right now. The system has been installed. The upgrade is complete. Your shadow companion is waiting for your instructions. All the raw material is there. So the only question left is, what will you choose to build with it?
Thank you for joining us for this complete journey through the Part S. We really hope these ancient truths help you and your family improve your own dimensions this week. If you enjoyed this full chapter deep dive, please like, subscribe, and share which part of the journey touched your soul in the comments. We'll see you in the next chapter.